feeling the pain like.
Hey guys, Yoongi here, and welcome back to my channel. At the end of last year, I uploaded a video discussing what I felt were some of the most disappointing K-pop releases of 2022. Well, now we are just over halfway through 2023, I thought it would be interesting to discuss what are some of the potential most disappointing K-pop releases of 2023 so far. These are just my opinions on these songs, and I would love to hear yours in the comments, or if you can think of any songs that I didn't mention. It's really important to note that I'm not necessarily saying that these songs are bad in any way, but they just did leave me with that feeling of disappointment for whatever reason, which we are going to look into in a bit more detail. This video is not intending to send any hate to any of the artists mentioned. Okay, so without further ado, and in no particular order, let's get into it. First up, we're going to start with one I think people might be expecting to see, and that is Jisoo Flower. This song in particular is nice. I think that's the most simple way to explain it. There isn't really anything particularly egregious about it because it is such an easy listen. I think the biggest reason why a lot of us were sort of left feeling kind of disappointed by this song is because there was such a long wait for this debut and whatever the final product would be. So the idea of a Jisoo solo debut was built up so much in our heads. I think that even Jisoo herself said the delay was because they wanted to make sure that they were preparing something fans would love. But when the actual song was released, there was nothing about it that really stands out at all or makes it memorable in any way. Jisoo, of course, looked beautiful in the video and all the stages, but the actual song itself does not really compliment her lyrically or as a vocalist, and there is not one part of the song, like one key part, that I can pinpoint as a killing part that sticks in my head, and both the chorus and choreography kind of feel empty, I'm afraid. This one could very much be a case of being our own worst enemy in the sense that the only reason we were left disappointed is because we built it up so much in our heads and then it didn't really live up to those crazy high expectations. But either way, I can't help but wish we got a little bit more from this one, especially with it being such a long-awaited solo debut. For the next song, we're sticking on the topic of solo debuts, and this one is Yeon Cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke. Cherry Coke.
For those who don't know, Yeon was a member of CLC, known not just for her rap skills, but also for having this stage presence that really makes you pay attention to her. This song, however, if you were to hear it for the first time not knowing who she is or what she's capable of, it would not even start to begin to do her justice. I was a huge CLC stan, so hearing Yeon was going to debut solo was so great and just made perfect sense because she's made to be on stage. But this song does not show off or highlight any of Yeon's abilities in any area, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it because I love her and I feel mean, but it's a little bit dull. I'm sorry. I think similarly to what we said for Jisoo, it's got a pretty empty chorus, but even in the verses too, there just isn't a great deal going on. I was expecting a lot more from Yeon's solo debut. I think a lot of us were, and I wanted to be blasting whatever she released on repeat, but I just can't with this song. Yeon is currently competing as a contestant on Queendom Puzzle, and I believe, spoiler alert, it is still early days, but I think she's doing well so far. So I'm really hoping this platform is something that really helps propel her solo career, but it does low-key concern me a little bit that potential new fans who are maybe getting curious to learn more about her, when they search her up, this might be one of the first things they see, and I personally don't feel it does her enough justice. Okay, first boy group addition to this video, because I'll be honest, I'm not sure if there's been less boy group releases this year or if I've just been a bigger fan of the quality, but a boy group song I wanted to talk about that I was a little bit disappointed in is Stray Kids' S-Class. I know this song is technically still quite new, so I'm not opposed to giving it more time and more listens to see if my opinion on this changes, but just in case it doesn't, until then, I can't help but include this song in this video for now. Even more so, especially because I have spoken to other K-pop stans who feel the same. I mentioned this song in a recent video where I reacted to unpopular K-pop opinions from Reddit, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much, but for those who didn't see that video, some of the Redditors said they weren't too keen on this song, and that the chorus kind kind of made it unlistenable for them, and I unfortunately agreed. Even back then I said I was going to give it more time, but at the moment I do still feel the same way. I think the reason I'm more disappointed in this one is because I was really liking the direction Stray Kids were going in with their music, in terms of what they were releasing and how much I'd liked it the last few eras. And I'm not saying they've decided to change direction or anything, they still have that Stray Kids sound, but compared to their last few releases, this one unfortunately hasn't lived up to the same name for me. Next song I wanted to talk about in today's video is Dreamcatcher Bon Voyage. Oh god, I'm scared to talk about this one because I know a lot of insomnias watch my videos and they won't want to hear me say this, but I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Bon Voyage. I will be honest, I don't know if I've even admitted this before, but I have had a love-hate relationship with Dreamcatcher's music in general in the past. I think it's just because I'm a pop fan first, not a rock fan, so sometimes I don't vibe as much with their music as a rock fan would, which is absolutely fine. But on the flip side, there have been some Dreamcatcher songs that I have adored. Unfortunately, Bon Voyage is not one of them, and I don't see it ever going that way either. I think the reason that I would call this song disappointing for me, again, is because it's not a bad song by any means, but it does nothing for me. Like, there isn't a part of it that sticks out as a song or as a concept. As much as their last few releases have, it doesn't feel fully actualized. For me personally, this song feels a lot more like a B-side than a title track, or a song I would expect to hear in like the background of an angsty scene in a TV show or a movie, not something I would hear a group promoting on music shows. I remember the first time I heard this thinking, how are they going to do a choreography to this? And when I saw it on music shows, they sure enough did, but something about it still just feels off from me, like it's incomplete in a way, if that makes sense. I'm sorry. The next song we're going to discuss, I think, will probably be another unpopular opinion, and that is Taeyang featuring Lisa, Shung. I don't think people are going to like this one because I don't think I've heard anybody else say they were disappointed by this song. In fact, quite the opposite. I think I know a lot of people who loved this collaboration, and I'm with you in the sense that I thought this collab was an amazing idea. I could just imagine these two artists really blending well together, and it just made sense. But the song didn't really appeal to me as much as I thought it would when it came out. It's okay in the sense that I don't hate it, but it isn't really anywhere near what I expected. I don't want to say I wanted a super upbeat banger with a crazy choreography, like that's not fair, and Taeyang is known for his R&B, and there's so many more levels to both of them as artists. But I think for their first collab together, surely I wasn't the only one that was expecting a better showcase of both of their skills. Aside from that, I love Lisa as a rapper, but I didn't like her rap in this song at all. It kind of breaks the song up for me in a bit of a weird way, if that makes sense, and I'd rather have them go back to the drawing board and perhaps come up with something else. This was a great opportunity to show Lisa's skills as an R&B artist, collaborating with someone who is so renowned for that in K-pop, but as a feature it doesn't really do her justice in my opinion. Next song that I personally was disappointed in is Vivi's Pull Up. I do low-key feel kind of bad for including this one because if I remember correctly, I also included Love Aid in my most disappointing K-pop releases of 2022 video as well. But I have to be honest, and I don't know what it is because I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm still feeling like there's something a bit lacking with Vivi's music. I want to know if this is just me or if anybody else feels the same. When we first heard that the three members of G-Friend were going to reform as a new group, I was so excited to see them get this second chance where they deserved it so much, especially after their career as G-Friend ended so abruptly. But so far, none of their songs have really been able to grasp me, and I kind of don't know what image or direction they're going for yet. It's strange because I know they're more than capable of blowing us all away, but every one of their songs so far haven't really been memorable for me, and Pull Up is no exception. Like I said, I don't know what their image is yet, and I don't feel like they've found their sound. The Vivi song I'd seen most potential in so far was Rum Pum Pum. There seemed to be something else about that song, like that little extra spice or oomph, that made me optimistic because perhaps they were still just figuring themselves out and now they were finally getting there. But unfortunately, we don't seem to have moved on from there, and they haven't become any more actualized in any way. Pull Up is now just another song that I don't find myself actively wanting to go back to and re-listen to, which is a shame. I really hope they finally find that direction they're going for, because then I think that will propel them to new heights that they haven't quite been able to get to yet. And the next song we're going to look at is Mamamoo Plus, which is the Solar and Moonbyul subunit, GGBB. Okay, listen, I promise you, nobody was excited for this subunit as somebody like me. I'm a huge Mamamoo fan, and I'm a huge fan of them, and I don't know exactly what I was expecting from this release, but I was excited either way. Unfortunately, I was low-key disappointed in this one. When they released a music video for the B-side, Chico Malo first, I was like, oh, okay, this is nice. If this is okay, imagine how great the title track is going to be. The first teasers, I think, looked really cool, but then a second lot of teasers came out, and it was like an entirely different song, one that wasn't my style at all, and one that I personally felt didn't suit them as much. So then of course I started to get a little bit worried, and of course it was the latter, the style I wasn't so sure of, that we ended up getting in the final piece. It was a much more youthful kind of song, if that makes sense, and while it's not a bad song per se, I just think a different concept would have suited the pair a lot better and complemented their image as vocalist and rapper. That's all. Like, if anybody saw the pre-release B-side Chico Malo, I would have definitely preferred that to be the title track, or at least something kind of continuing that sort of concept. It just felt like it made a lot more sense, and the actual song GGBB, although I like the idea of the song, the whole concept kind of felt young, like something I'd expected them to do years ago. It didn't remind me of the current Mamamoo that I know and love. Okay guys, and that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Can you think of any songs that I may have missed? I know we're only halfway through the year, so this video is kind of shorter than I would have wanted it to be, but I'm very interested to see how the second half of the year goes, and I'm definitely going to be doing this in December, so we'll see if we have a whole new crop of songs to discuss. If you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell. That'll let you be the first to hear whenever I upload. And I will see you next time. Bye guys!